Hey, Humanities 135, how's everybody doing out there? We're going to give you a quick recap of where we are in the course and where we're headed next. We had two major assignments last week. The first was using Google Docs. Google Docs is this really cool free service available to all of you. You may have heard about computing in the clouds, and that's what Google Docs is all about. It allows you to store files online, access them from anywhere you have an internet access. That could be your smartphone, a computer, a laptop. And it also allows you to collaborate with anyone else anywhere who also has similar access. We're going to use this software to write a group essay for the first assignment for the semester. This will be an essay about Native American oral traditions. So in order to use this, you need to sign in and get a Google ID, and then I want you to share that ID with me so that way I know who has what ID and I can figure out who has contributed what components to these assignments. The next assignment was a biography and a response to someone else's. So this is a chance to introduce yourself to the class, let your other students know who you are, where you're coming from, a little bit about you. Also a chance to respond to our first reading, which was the SALU readings. And thanks to all of you who submitted those biographies. Most of you were able to turn in that assignment. If any of your work from this past week is outstanding, you can still turn it in. I usually assess a late penalty, but I don't for week 1 assignments because students are still learning the ins and outs of Blackboard and need a little bit of time to figure out the computer technology. So as long as that work is turned in by the end of the week, Sunday, you can still turn it in with and get credit for it. If you want to update any of your assignments, please click reply to the original posting. Some of you had some points taken off because your biographies were really tiny and I was looking for maybe a page, at least a paragraph. It was just a sentence. I took some points off. Okay. There is some feedback from me to all of you on the assignment, on the biographies. I took a moment to sort of compile some facts about the class and also to respond to the reading itself. So please read that. There's a link to it right here in Blackboard. Read my feedback, and if you have any questions or comments about it, and I invite your feedback, there's another link to the a posting in the general comments discussion forum. There's an active thread there where you can talk about that work. Next week, we're going to really start the course. We're going to be an introduction into the oral traditions of Native Americans. This is a really rich set of traditions. It's a history that goes back really thousands of years, back really 10,000 years to the crossing of the Bering Straits, when the first indigenous peoples came from Asia to this country. What we will be reading are folk tales, stories, and legends that were passed down by word of mouth for many, many generations. These were then written down in the 18th and 19th and early 20th centuries, and we'll be reading different stories for next week will be what are called creation myths. These are stories about the origins of the world and the origin of the first peoples. So you've got 3 different readings, 2 different indigenous peoples, so you have those readings to do. And then there's also an introduction by an editor named Lauder. I'd like you to read that content as well to give you a little bit of context, give you an understanding of what this content is all about. After you've done the reading, I want you to make a posting to our discussion forum. Your posting should, again, be about the same length as the biography, about a page, a couple hundred words. And I want you to try to identify what you believe to be the central lessons or messages or really theme of this content. The reason I'm having you share that is we're going to go back and look at these discussion forums when it comes time to writing your first essay. So this is really exploratory work for writing the first paper for the course. I want you to practice using MLA style. That means you're referring to content with a page number and referencing, if you're quoting anything word for word, you're putting quotation marks around it. There is an academic writing primer that's linked in our discussion forum, in Blackboard in the the course information folders where that's located. So do make use of that also. And finally, if you have any questions about anything going on in week 2, there's an active thread on week 2 in the general comments discussion forum. You can click there in order to ask any questions you might have, and that way we can keep all those questions in one place. All right, good luck in the class. Look forward to talking to you more in the weeks ahead. Bye-bye.